Mitchell, you've been chomping at the bit to talk about albino rhino, and that Earl's restaurants have taken the word albino.
Mostly because, you know, there was one guy that really made a big push to get it off the menu. And you had said you had interviewed him before, actually. I can understand the offense. Like, you know, taking offense to it and everything. But at the same time, I don't know if it's just how society is right now, but we all just kind of have to take a deep breath and, you know, like, let some things go. Otherwise, everybody hates, you know, all the athletes that come on and you know, say all those cliches all the time, the same things over and over again and whatnot. But you know, if you hate it so much, they have to talk like this because that's how society is. Like, you can't say anything out of line or else big story, you know what I mean? So it's just
But here's the thing, if you were part of a marginalized group of society, and none of us really could experience what the very few albino people living in this world have gone through.
So I might be albino.
That's a good oh my
You never know. Sorry, anyway.
If none of us have ever experienced the kind of things that these people would go through living as an albino, I mean, or any kind of marginalized person in society, is it for us to say that they shouldn't want that off the menu?
See, in a case like this, I thought, because I never even thought of it that way, I thought albino rhino, I thought that was a type of rhinoceros that I wasn't familiar with from Africa. I thought it was actually what it was called just because of its skin, the tone of its skin. I didn't know, like, I had no idea. I was drinking the beer because I like beer. I wasn't even looking into it like that, you know what I mean? So for me, I mean, I can't speak, I'm not, you know, I'm not, clearly not albino. I'm pale, but I'm not albino, you know what I mean? And I'm on this board right now. That was one of the reasons why I was afraid to sit here, because I always got to watch my P's and Q's. Because when I'm out there, I can say whatever I want. And when I'm sitting here talking about albino pale ale, I'm just saying I'm just drinking beer, and I never even thought of it.
And that's fair. But I mean, my point is, because we kind of got into a discussion in the newsroom about just the over political correctness of society now. But the fact is, like, we don't know what it's like to live like that. And if there's a term that you feel is mocking you in some way, even though it was never intended that way, they just called it that. But I don't know, I don't...
What about the name for a hamburger? A nip.
Right, yeah, absolutely, and that was done, like, for years. And it was not in any way connected to the racial slur, the word nip. It was, he wanted to find a funny word or use a funny word to describe a hamburger. Right,
like a little nip, little nip of something.
Yeah. Well, what do you think of that?
I was completely misinformed about that. I thought it was something else.
It didn't, to me, no, it doesn't bother me. I mean, I associate the word with the object, the hamburger. And
I'm not, to some extent, the fact that a lot of people, when they use these words, aren't thinking of that offensive,ness. I think that's the problem, though. I think that is the problem.
Well,
like,
we've just become hypersensitive to everything.
I think, to some extent, I know there's a big push against political correctness, but I do understand where it comes from, because if we're all, like, if someone were to use the term gay to describe something that sucks, as opposed to something that is a dude who likes other dudes or a girl who likes other girls, and not think like, oh, I didn't mean it like that. Well, that's the whole point, is that it's entrenched itself into our language and we don't even think about it. That's a problem, I think.
Yeah, and it's all these old words that are having new connotations, right?
Yeah.
So those of us just use it like we always do.
Yeah.
But it's so tricky, though, because, I mean, I've known people, like, I've known Filipino guys I grew up with and stuff. I'm a white boy, but because I'm so close with those people, I can call them whatever I want, and they're cool with it. And they call me whatever they want. They call me all sorts of honky, this and that, and it's a term of endearment that we use together. Right. Exactly. But that's where it's tricky, though, is because on a whole, we can't see these, you know, certain words in public and stuff. But when you're with the people that you love and the people that you respect, it's a term of endearment. So it just it's so hard to draw the line on where it's acceptable and where it's not. And that's why I think with beer and at Earl's, I'm just curious. I'm not familiar with the background story. Is the man that had opposition to it, is he albino?
Yes. He and his brother they're twins, and they are. I've interviewed them. They've been on our channel. And they have had to work really hard, because in certain places around the world, albinos are persecuted and killed because there's witchcraft surrounding, like that the skin of an albino or the whatever of an albino can make a potion, and or also that they're evil.
Wow. What they did to Tom Hanks in that movie, you know.
Made a lot of
Da Vinci Code.
Oh, I didn't
There was
see
a
it.
huge backlash because the albino monk was portrayed as evil and stuff.
Oh, wow.
But there's certain places in the world where that is absolutely the case. If you're albino, good luck to you. You know, whereas in Canada, in a different society, yeah, probably these gentlemen were bullied as kids and they've had their fair share of difficulties because of it. But by no means is it like in Africa, for example, if you're an albino.
That still doesn't diminish the fact that they've had a tough time with it, right?
Yeah.
Like,
and so for that reason, I don't blame them for wanting to pull that name because
Who knows what they've been through.
Yeah, and I've never, as a white woman living in Canada, I've never been through any kind of persecution at all for anything, you know, for any reason. And
I think it's politically correct on Earls, and unfortunately, I know Mitch.
It's just like I said, I can understand. Well, you don't understand, but you can get the offense, the political correctness behind it. I just think maybe not in this issue, but
that there's an overboard.
We just need to take a deep
collectively
What are they
step
changing
back.
the name to?
I don't know.
Sure. Okay.
No, and good on Earls for answering. Like there wasn't a big hullabaloo about it. They just said, okay, yeah, we're going to change it. Yeah, we understand. Thank you, appreciate it, and we're going to change it. Sorry for any offense. We didn't mean it. And then and it went away.
Yeah.
And that I think other organizations, companies, people could learn something from that instead of putting up a fight.
Teams with racist names from the 50s or whatever.
Oh man, those names.
Oh, but there's a whole bunch of stuff happening in the States about name changes to teams because of that. And
I mean that's been an issue for 20 years though.
Yeah.
But that's a money issue too. That's millions and millions of dollars invested in these, you know, to change a name ain't cheap.
Oh yeah, it's a
you know,
brand.
and that's what it is too.
It's lucrative though. I mean, look at all the teams like, you know what,
Well,
we
because
need a
it's-
9th jersey.
because
totally.
But because it's lucrative, we should be able to offend people. Oh, we're
I
making
agree.
billions of dollars off of the, you know, on the backs of your suffering over the years.
Yeah.
But so we're not going to change it. Hope that's okay.
But that's what it is, though. That's why they're slow to move it. That's why
Yeah,
they're slow
sure.
to change it. They're stalling. You know, they know it's inevitable. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, guys, I think it's about time to get back to work. It's been a spirited Friday. We'll. I know you have.
International Women's Day.
Happy International Women's Day.
I love
Cheers
women.
to everyone. I know you do.
Tracy.
sit so far away.